In many ways, Kofi Annan was the United Nations. That is how current Secretary-General Antonio Guterres described his predecessor.
He put people at the center of the work of the United Nations and was able to turn compassion into action across the UN system.
A true child of the organization, Kofi Annan began his UN career in 1962 at just 24 years old. Over more than 3 decades, he rose through the ranks to become Secretary-General from 1997 to 2006.
I, Kofi Annan.
I, Kofi Annan.
UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric, seen here with his children and Kofi Annan, recalls when he first joined the late UN chief's team in 2005.
I remember the first time I met him, my boss at the time, Fred Eckhart, introduced me to him quickly as he was coming into the building. And I remember feeling overwhelmed by the fact that here was this man, a very powerful man. Just took a few minutes to meet his new staff member, a junior staff member. And from that moment on, I felt very much at home and at ease with him.
It was that humility and approachability that endeared him to people within the UN, and his gentle diplomacy that inspired the world.
I think people will remember him for the enormous amount of reform that we saw during his tenure as Secretary-General. So the creation of the Human Rights Council, of the Peace-Building Commission, the adoption of what we now consider flagship initiatives of the UN, the Millennium Development Goals most prominently.
For his accomplishments, Kofi Annan was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2001. But his time here also saw some of the darkest moments in UN history. His failure to prevent the Iraq War and to stop genocides in Rwanda and the former Yugoslavia in the 1990s had scarred the organization. Kofi Annan took these failures very personally and tried to atone for them, especially for Rwanda.
Kofi Annan was not perfect, and in his period before he became Secretary-General in 1997, before that he was the Undersecretary-General for Peacekeeping. And during that time, the Rwanda situation happened. This was on his watch. The UN did not handle it right. They had information that a genocide was unfolding, and they did not ring the alarm bells and run to the Security Council. They took a neutral approach to things.
Kofi Annan may have been an extraordinary statesman, diplomat, and gentleman, but many say it is his peacemaking spirit and his willingness to acknowledge failures and make up for them that will endure. Li Ling Tan, CGTN, New York.